Hey Newburgh, I'm Kyle, your Director of Music and Worship Arts, and I have your Monday Minute for this week. Just a couple reminders to start off. First, ASP, the Avalation Service Project, is starting this week, and the people who are going are leaving on Sunday morning. So if you have any last-minute donations you'd like to get to them, we're looking for Gatorade or things like that, or any individually wrapped snacks. We'd greatly appreciate it if you could drop them off here at the church before Saturday. Now also, our new topics for the Unpacked groups are starting up. We have Care of Creation, which is going to be on Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday evening, and Ways to Pray, which is Monday evening. Make sure you get into one of those if you're interested in those topics. And finally, VBS is coming up very soon. Make sure you're registered if you want to be involved. Now, today I am here in the sanctuary at the piano because I've been thinking a lot about a song that my mom taught me when I was in Sunday school. It went like something like this. The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock, and the rain came tumbling down. The rain came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up, and the house on the rock stood firm. Now, of course, there's another verse or two to that, but you get the idea. That means a lot to me, not only because it's something my mom taught me a long time ago, but it's actually a quote from the Bible. In Matthew chapter 7, we're coming to the end of Jesus doing a long line of preaching. He's been talking for quite some time. This is from the Sermon on the Mount, even. And at the very end, after he talked about the Beatitudes and the Golden Rule and showing love by the fruit of your actions, he says this: anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise, like a person who builds a house on solid rock. Though the rain comes in torrents and the floodwaters rise and the winds beat against the house, it won't collapse because it is built on bedrock. But anyone who hears my teaching and doesn't obey it is foolish, like a person who builds a house on sand. When the rains and the floods come and the winds beat against that house, it will collapse with a mighty crash. Now, this means, I've been thinking about this a lot lately because to me, he's talking about not only his teachings, but where we find our identity. Because where we place our identity kind of determines so much about our personality, our actions, our priorities even. And he's saying here, your priority, your identity needs to be wrapped up in God, in being a child of God, in that kind of family, in the focus being on Him, on Christ. It's really important, not just because he says it's a good thing, but it's good for us. He's looking out for the best for us, because that rock, that foundation, God Himself, as we know Him in Jesus Christ, that is unshakable. Nothing changes God. Nothing changes that foundation. So when the hard times of life come, and they will come, we will not be shaken. We may go through the hard times, we may struggle with it, but we can get through it standing because we've put our identity in God. Our priorities are on Him and Him alone. Now, the problem is we often put our identity somewhere else. And it could even be a seemingly good thing, but not being God means that it can move. Sometimes our identity is wrapped up in maybe our family. Our identity is wrapped up in who we are as a couple with someone else. Our identity could be who we affiliate with, our political party, an organization that we belong to. Heck, it could even be in a church that we attend. But all of those things can change. And when the storms of life come for us, if our foundation, if the house that we have built, our lives that we have built, is on something like that can change, and it does change, it feels like a disaster. Everything comes tumbling down around our heads. Those things can change. And while they can be good, they're not where we should be building our house. They're not what we should be prioritizing first and foremost. They're not where we should put our identity. So, for this week, I'm going to challenge you to do some introspection. Is there a part of your life that's built on sand? Is there something where you put all of your stock, all of your identity, that it is a priority above everything else, including God? See if you have something like that. As humans, we tend to always have something like that. We always got to fix something, right? But find what that is and start making changes this week. Let it be a priority, but not number one priority. Let it be a good thing, but not a foundation. Let it be a part of your house, but not the rock on which it is built. Only God can be that. Only God is unchangeable. Only God is immutable. Which is a great and grand thing, because when the storms of life comes, you won't be shaken. You'll be left standing. So that's your mission for this week. Find those things in your life that may be built on something else besides God. And let's start making changes right now to put them back where they belong. If you ever need help, you're always welcome here at Newburgh. We're happy to help you along your journey and to help you build your house on the solid rock that is Jesus Christ. Have a great week, Newburgh. We'll see you next time.